Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Ham Radio Basics Live, Season 4, Episode 22. Ham Radio Basic News and Updates 6/3/2026. Let's see who else who got in the house. And I see Cooley and Andy are here. Welcome, guys. Thanks for stopping by today. It's the middle of the week. It's Wednesday. How about that? We're making progress. It's wonderfully hot and humid here in the state of Florida. Yes, I am so reporting that. Now, I am wearing an updated T-shirt just to let you guys know. I redid the logos. You probably saw my HRB. I think I wore that last week. I've gotten a lot of real popular comments on that one. The font's a little different, but the logo's basically the same. I like it. I think it looks a lot better, a lot cleaner. I have some other clean looks on it as well. I got a logo for the show, Ham Radio Basics Live. Kind of circular, kind of like global kind of a thing. I'm going to be getting a T-shirt and wearing that too. And I'm probably going to be relisting some merchandise for sale because I think I can go ahead and get this to where it'll work in terms of being a reasonable cost for you guys. So stay tuned for all that. I'm looking forward to that. Having a lot of fun here. Sorry for getting started a few minutes late. I had 6 meetings today, work meetings. So yeah, needless to say, I didn't get any work done because I was in meetings all day long. Okay. One of the big things with ham radio is studying for and taking your exams. And hey, Sergeant Rock, welcome. Thanks for stopping by today. Good to see you. One of the big things is studying for and taking exams. And, there are lots of different ways to study for your exams. ARRL has some fantastic materials, some great books on that. There are some courses. Now, the course that I took was, I think it was Ham Test Online, where what they did was they rotated the pool of questions every time. So you weren't memorizing answers. You had to know the answers to the questions. And it really helped. It for back in the day, that's what was available there. Okay. Well, James and his staff at Ham Radio Prep came up with, I thought, is one of the best ways to study for and take your ham radio exams. And, not only that, and we're going to get to the slide deck here in a second. Not only that, but they also have some follow-up courses besides just your technician course, just your, general course, and just your extra course. They have courses on, getting your first HF radio and getting that set up, giving you some advice on that. They have courses involving getting into emergency communications. Like a lot of people like to get into Aries. I have a course I just saw. They have a course on POTA as well, too. And they're also updating because the question pool is going to change July 1st this year. So, it's good to stay on top of things. And, I went out there. Now, I didn't actually sit through and take a full practice exam and everything, but I did do some practicing on there, and I really like their format. I mean, and it's one of these things, if you have 2 or 3 days in a week, you can get it done fine. If you have no days that week, fine. But it really builds upon your time that you've been studying it, and it breaks it down into really good chunks. These are some of the things that I like about it. And I've had James on the show a couple times. I've had Jim. They call him Professor Jim. And I met Jim last time at Hamcation. And just James has such wonderful people that work for him, and I really can't say enough about it. So without any further ado, we're going to jump into the slide deck here. I want to get going on that. I'm just so excited and so positive for them. They just do such an incredible job. So, okay, let's go ahead and share that. All right, there we go. Top 10 reasons new hams choose Ham Radio Prep as their primary preparation tool. And it really is true. More hams coming into it are going solely with Ham Radio Prep. And it really, they have a great guarantee. They guarantee you'll pass your first exam or you'll get your money back. So, now, structured learning path. Ham Radio Prep organizes material into clear, step-by-step learning path that builds your knowledge from the ground up. Lessons are arranged logically so concepts build on each other. You just don't memorize the answers. You understand why they are correct. Each topic includes explanations, examples, and key takeaways. This approach leads to deeper understanding and better long-term retention. Thought, understanding the why behind the answers makes you a better operator, not just a test taker. And that's so true. And that's something I think I got to give James a lot of credit for when he put this together. He wanted something, not just to be online and not just to be able to do practice exams, but he wanted to build upon concepts. He wanted to build on a foundation. And I really like his approach because it's kind of like a building block approach to learning ham radio. And it's so important. It's good for the technician in general, but where it really lends itself to being a real benefit is when you're studying for the extra exam. And I've looked at some of the content for the extra on there, and it really is I can't say enough about it. I mean, it really helps because the extra exam's not easy to take. Those of you who are extras, or have taken it, it's not easy to take, and you really got to prepare for it. And I did. I really prepared, and I prepared well for it. And you really got to understand just a lot more than just general concepts with that. You really have to know what you're talking about. And that's why the structured learning path is so key to being able to take and to pass and, getting your technician, your general, and especially your amateur. So, but kudos again to James and his staff out there. The wonderful thing about Ham Radio Prep is you can study anywhere. Your study materials are available whenever and wherever you are. Access the platform on your computer, tablet, or smartphone. And I mean, back in the day, I mean, you had to have a computer to be on to be able to do this. You really, I again forget 100% what I took, but it was only web-based. I mean, it wasn't smartphone. You couldn't do anything with that. And of course, you can study at home during your lunch break or while traveling. I mean, it's at the point now you could bring your smartphone up during your lunch break and take 20 minutes and get some lessons in. Your progress syncs across devices so you can pick up right where you left off. I mean, it's so nice. If you use a tablet one day, if you're using your desktop one day or laptop, or you're using your phone, everything's synced up. Everything's in sync there. And then it's all, since it's all web-based, there's no downloads or installation required, which is great. And it really helps because, everybody's on the go all the time here. And, if you have an extra few minutes, let's say, you're waiting for your wife or something, or waiting on somebody else, and you're in a waiting room, take 15, 20 minutes out and you could go ahead and go through a lesson or two. And the thought here says flexibility makes it easier to stay consistent and reach your goals better. It really does. I mean, having this pretty much at hand anytime you want is absolutely fantastic. And I think it's great. Okay. Technician, general, and extra courses here. Ham Radio Prep offers complete training for all 3 amateur radio license levels in the United States. Start with your technician license and build a strong foundation. Continue on to general and extra with comprehensive courses. One platform, consistent format, and familiar tools at every level. Easily upgrade your license as knowledge and confidence grow. Thought, your journey doesn't stop at one license. Ham Radio Prep grows with you. And, a lot of times what usually happens, and a lot of people have done this, and I keep hearing stories of people who will go in and they'll take their technician, but then they'll also take, say, a general exam, even though that they haven't prepared for it. And it's really interesting because I've done some kind of like mental notes as far as that's concerned. Oh, what's up, Vern? Welcome. Good to see you this afternoon. Thanks for stopping by, my friend. You'll see, I see a lot of people who have taken the technician and who on a whim will take the general and they'll pass it. And more often than not, without even having really prepared for it. Okay. But it's very rare that I see someone taking, say, a general and then going on and taking an extra and passing the extra exam without having prepared for it. The extra is one of those exams you really do have to prepare for, unless you are an extremely gifted and intelligent person. It's just kind of like the name of the game. That's kind of like where things are. Boondog Technologies, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. It's just, I think it's great. I think and James just has it structured so very well. And again, there are additional courses. I don't have a slide for that, but I did talk about some of these additional courses. Like, for example, they help you get your first HF station set up. They help walk you through maybe trying to find a gently used one, what kind of antenna to get, they walk you through everything, which is absolutely fantastic. And Jim does a great job. He does a lot of their video courses, and he does a fantastic job with that. And I had Jim on the show as well too, and I really like him. He's fantastic. Again, I can't say enough about the people that James has hired. And I had on the gentleman that does World Radio League, their logging software, and he was fantastic too. I mean, James really hit a home run, and he really hit a real very very much of a need point here when he put this coursework together. Okay, practice exams that mirror the real test. Practice with confidence using real FCC question pool exams. Exams are built from the actual FCC question pool for your license level. The format, timing, and scoring match the real exam. Randomized questions sets keep each test fresh and challenging. Detailed explanations for every question, right and wrong. And thought, the more you practice like it's the real thing, the more confident you'll be on exam day. And that's very true. You cannot practice. One of the things I can say strongly about this is you can't practice enough for those exams, okay? By the time I went in to take my technician exam, I had probably practiced it at least 30 or more times. And I would say it was even more for my general. And I would say probably about at least 30 to 35 for my extra when I took that. So, the real saying, the practice makes perfect. What's nice is they do rotate the Waypoint New England. Welcome. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by today. One thing that they do here, and I really like that, is they rotate the question pool on here. So it really kind of forces you not to just memorize an answer, but to know the answer and to come up with the answer. And I think that's a real key right here. And like I said, the actual pool for the courses and for the exams are changing on July 1st. So of course, James, I know he and his staff are busy getting ready for that and being able to handle that, which should be at ease there. But having these practice exams really makes a world of difference, because it helps you go in with a confidence, and not a swagger, but a confidence that the material, all right, and that whatever questions that you'll face, you'll be able to answer them with ease. And that's kind of the way it was, especially for me. And I'm going to say the test that's probably scared me the most was a general. There were several that I had to go back on, but I scored real well. I think I only missed 3 on the general. I missed 2 on the technician, and I think I missed 4 on the amateur extra, or 3. I'm not sure. But the general scared me the most because that was the one that I had to go back. There were several of them that I weren't 100% sure on. Most of the ones with the extra, I was sure on. That really, and like I said, it gives you a confidence when you go in to take the exam. And it's not a swagger, but it's a confidence. And I think that practicing really helps build that confidence when you're going into the exam there. Okay. It tracks your progress. Know where you stand and focus your time on where it matters most. There's a built-in progress tracking. It shows your strengths and weaknesses, which is really good. It really kind of helps you focus on what you need to study on for this. See topic by topic stats and exam scores at a glance. Again, this breakdown that they have with the course material is fantastic. Identify the areas that need more work and prioritize your study. And again, they'll tailor it to you, to what you need to study more and to be able to prepare better, and helps you stay motivated as you watch your scores improve. Smart studying means working on the right topics, not just more topics. And that's so true, because back in the day, if you practice and you missed, okay, you probably just went back and you had to restudy everything. And that takes a lot more time when you do something like that. But conversely, when you go back and now, well, it's this area, and this area, you can go focus on those areas. And of course, the coursework will help you on that. and it really helps you get those areas down. Not just not just understanding or not just knowing what the answer is, but understanding the answer. And I think it really makes a big difference with that. But it keeps a very accurate accounting of where you're at. Now, back in the day, the one that I took was online, and I would be getting scores. It was all I had, and it told me which ones were right, which ones were wrong. So the ones that were wrong, I kind of would focus on and make sure that I knew the next time I would take that, if it would come up in that question pool that I would face. And of course, those were still random as well too there. So video-based learning, and they are really great at that. Jim is in a lot of those. Professor Jim, he's in a lot of their video-based learning, and their video-based learning is fantastic. They do a great job. And again, short, focused videos break down difficult concepts, see real-world examples and diagrams explained clearly. Pause, rewind, and rewatch anytime you need a refresher. Great for visual learners and anyone who prefers listening. Okay. And they do a lot of their videos are in shorts, and a lot of them are, don't need a verbose explanation to understand what they're talking about and understanding the concept. But some of the longer ones are, they're equally as good as well. Breaking down, I know Jim did one on, buying your first HF radio, what you should look for, your budget, those kind of things, getting it set up. They're more than just the courses for the licenses. They really are covering the full gambit of things. And now with World Radio League that they added on their logging software, it really is like from A to Z. They really kind of cover everything as far as that's concerned. So having these video lessons as well too are incredible, and they have a great YouTube channel. It's available to everybody as well too. Beginner friendly explanations. They really offer, and that's one of the things that I really like. For example, you can see on the screen here, Q codes made easy. Really basic things get explained to people, because I think a lot of people are, what's a Q code? And then, it's like you go around when the first time, if non-ham radio people around you, and you start saying, QRP or da-da-da-da-da, and people are like, what are you talking about? What kind of third language is that I don't know? But they really break things down like this in terminology, and they make it very easy for you to understand, and very, very straightforward. And I really like that. Again, they use simple language, analogies, real world examples, and it really helps build your confidence as your knowledge grows. I mean, when the material makes sense, learning becomes enjoyable, and it does. I mean, one of the things I did early on was, don't want to say that I memorized the Q codes, but I really got to know what they meant, and not only for just what the words were, but the very first one that I really learned was QRP, and exactly what that meant. And then it was a joy then on out. It really helps, and it really helps to have it explained in a succinct, easy to understand manner, and they do that, and they do such a great job with that there. Learn at your own pace. And again, your control of your schedule and your learning speed. Spend more time on challenging topics. Move quickly through material you already know. No deadlines, no pressure, just progress. Perfect for busy schedules and different learning styles. Learning on your terms leads to better understanding and less stress. And it really does. I can't say enough about that. I think that's so important is, you're not forced to, I'm going to be taking the exam on such and such a date, and I need to have, you don't pigeonhole yourself. You go out now. Not every club offers exams, every month. So you go out and you find, for example, I took all three of my exams at different clubs. I went to one, it was about 25, 30 miles south of me for the technician. I went to one here about 10, 15 miles away for my general, and I went to one about 10 miles away for my amateur extra. All three of them were different locations. Two were in libraries, and one was in a church hall, and atmosphere was fine. Everything was fine. There was no questions, no problems at all. But you learn at your own pace. And what I did was, I went out and I looked at the dates, and I had some target dates in mind. Now, I didn't set like a month or two. I was like 3 months out, 4 months out, because I wanted to make sure that I had plenty of time to study the material. And also, too, you live life. You have obligations and responsibilities at home with your wife and with your family, and you need to make sure that those get taken care of as well. It's just not, I'm gonna, every waking minute that I'm not working, I'm going to be studying for my ham radio exam. No, it's not like that. But having the course material the way it is right now, available on your smartphone or laptop or tablet, makes it so much easier to be able to pick that up and to be able to get 15 or 20 minutes worth of studying in. So it really kind of does make a difference there. Now, excellent for returning hams. Whether you're getting back in the hobby or upgrading, Ham Radio Prep helps you refresh and focus. Review the fundamentals you may have forgotten. Quickly identify weak areas and rebuild your knowledge. A great refresher before upgrading to general or extra. Get back on the air with confidence. It's never too late to get back on the air will help you get there. And it's true. I mean, they really do a great job. When I went in to look at it, now I had my amateur extra by the time I started poking around into the material in there. But they really do a great job with that. And, it really helps. I've gone in there as well, too. Even if you've passed all your exams in there, it really kind of lends itself. That boondock technology. I like that. We should all retake the test and see who can hit minimal on the nose. Yep. That's really good. I like that here. Anything else than minimal passing score is just showing off. LOL. Okay. That's good. Those are some good points. And I'm considering going back in there. I'm working, my big goal this year, probably in the next year or so, is to finally get my home shack set up. When whenever I operate from home, I operate portable, and my goal is to do that. But when I have the time, I'm going to dive back in and take a look at, especially the extra. I think for me, I want to go back and I want to look at a lot of the concepts, because I understand so much. But I think going back and refocusing and just taking the coursework and looking at it, because I didn't really take the coursework through them, it really would make a difference. So I think I'm going to go ahead and spend some time and do that. But again, it is something that's excellent for coming back there for returning hams here. Okay. High success rate. Thousands of new hams have passed their exams using Ham Radio Prep. Consistent improvement methods at work. High pass rates and positive reviews from real users. A trusted resource recommended by hams and clubs. Join a community of successful operators who started where you are now. Proven results give you confidence that you're choosing the right path. And one of the things I really like that they do is when someone passes an exam, they publish it, and they publish a picture of that person, usually holding their certificate. And I think that's such great joy. And I try to comment on it and retweet it every single time I see that out on X. And I think it's so important. I think it's something that people should be proud of, should, be very joyful about. And I really like that. I really think it's something that you need to get out there. And, they do have that money back guarantee that you're going to pass that exam or you get your money back. And, I don't know of too many people who have probably gotten their money back from them. Now, what I've done, I did for a couple of years in a row at Christmas time, I gave away some certificates for them. And I'm thinking about, if I have some extra funds around the holidays, that I may do that again, because I so believe in their mission. I so believe in what they do. I so believe, their mission. I really like what they do. I really like their approach to things. I really like, just everything about them. Everybody I've run into contact there is just absolutely fantastic. And ready to get your license, Ham Radio Prep gives you the tools, knowledge, and confidence to pass your exam and get on the air. Structured lessons, practice exams, progress tracking, video instruction, all in one place. Start your journey today and join the worldwide amateur radio community. And You can take a look right here. I think it's so good that they really show all these pictures of everybody who passes their exams. I think it's so good. It's good for the community. It's good for the individual that passes the exam. It's good for everybody. And James and his staff have a winning formula. They do great work. They do a great job. Support them, encourage them. One of the things you can do if you're out on X, or Twitter, and you see one of them, that they post somebody has passed their exam, put a congratulations on there, because I know that person reads it. And also I retweet them as well too. I said, congratulations. It's something to be celebrated. And the more that we do that, the more encouragement that we give, especially to new hams, the more they're going to want to stay in the hobby long term. They're going to want to, and they'll continue and pass that on. They'll pay that forward, which I think is absolutely fantastic. So that's it for the PowerPoint presentation today. Thank you guys so much. Dr. Ted, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Cooley, I'm glad you were able to make it this afternoon. That's fantastic. Can't say enough about you guys. You guys are awesome. You really rock here. So that's all I got for today. Again, really, I was just so excited to get this slide deck put together today, because I really like James. I really like Jim, his staff. I've talked to a lot of the people when I've gone to Hamcation or Hamvention. They do a great job. And I told James, I said, one of the things I commented to him was, the people that you hire are just absolutely incredible. And he says, all I'm really looking for is that they have a passion for ham radio. And they do. And you can tell that everybody does that works for him and his crew. And of course, Jim's retired. I had him on the show. He told me about, what he used to do before he retired. And now he's doing this. And he absolutely loves it. He says it's like his second career, and he's having a great time. And he's just a great guy. You just can't help but love him. And things come across in such a great, easy to understand format from them. I really can't say enough about them and their methods. I mean, and I'm not disdaining other methods out there. I want to be clear about that. If getting out a book works for you and taking a practice exam online from that book works for you, absolutely do that. Or other study guides, absolutely use them. Use whatever is going to work for you. I just think a lot of people that have used this have had great success with it. That's why I want to share it. That's why I'm so positive and enthusiastic about it. I can't say enough about it. So, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your week. As always, remember, it's a great day to make a QSO. 7 3s, everybody. See you next week.